Hey, Bike here again. This is going to be video 3 in my little traffic safety series, and I'm going to talk about making turns. This one, you might say, well, Bike, why do you have to talk about turns? I mean, there's nothing involved in that. You turn your steering wheel and you go where you're going to go. Well, there are a number of problems. So we'll talk about making left turns first. Many years ago, when I was a young lad, my school did not have a driver's ed program. We were a college preparatory school, so that was none of that nonsense. Something practical you could actually use. So anyway, I ended up taking a commercial driver's training course. And I have often said this was the best money I ever spent. This guy that they sent out was terrific. He taught you not only the nuts and bolts of driving, but also the tactics of driving. And I'm sure he's long dead now, as I was just a young lad, but he was an excellent teacher. So anyway, one of the things that he constantly stressed when we were training was how to make a proper turn. And we'll illustrate this here. What he constantly harped on was that when you were going to make a left, you pulled right up to the intersection and turned your steering wheel to full lock and squared off your turn so that you made your turn from the left lane into the left lane. Occurs to me this might be backwards. Not sure how this works out. Anyway, from the left lane into the left lane. And if you didn't do this, he would get all testy, you know, and stomp on there. He had his own set of controls over there. He'd stomp on the brake. No, full turn. So that's pretty simple. That's how you make the sharpest possible turn. What do people do wrong? Well, I see this increasingly now, and I call this the lazy left turn or the cell phone left turn. And so what people are doing is this. Here's George, he's making his left turn, and instead of coming up here to the intersection and turning his steering wheel all the way, he's got one arm on the cell phone or hanging out the window, or he's holding his cigarette or something. He doesn't really want, he has never learned to properly one-hand the wheel around in a full circle like all of us older guys do. So he just sort of does it like this, and as a result he sort of makes this long, slow, arcing turn like this right through the oncoming lane of traffic. That's not too bad if you've got plenty of sight distance down this side street here, where you can see if there's anybody coming. But in so many cases, that's not the case. I live on a street where this intersection here would be almost completely obscured by a tree and bushes and everything. So many is the time that I've been pulling up here to the main street and found, you know, George bearing down on me, about to whack into my front end. And I've had these people actually stop in mid-turn, correct, and then just go around you like this. It's nuts. And if the timing just happens to be a little off, bang, you get, you know, what amounts to a head-on collision. This is made worse by the fact that many people, as we all know, instead of stopping here and then inching forward to look around to see if it's safe, no, they'll pull right through the stop sign right up here so that they can pull out into traffic if nobody's coming. So if this guy does that and this guy is doing that, not a good scene, you know, bingity bang. So that's one thing that's wrong. The second thing is making a right turn. What do we do there? I'm going this way. This is how this looks to me. I'm hoping this comes out right on the thing. You get this species of driver who doesn't believe that that they can make a proper right turn just by turning their wheel all the way. They have to turn to the left first. They go like this. We've all seen that. And instead of just coming up here, cranking the wheel all the way and going in, they have to make this little jog over here to get headed in. That's can be problematic. How so? Well, because somebody might be passing you when you're doing that, or coming the other way. And even if you don't hit them, he could go skittering off into the bushes. So again, you can make the tightest possible turn by simply turning that steering wheel all the way. And modern cars, even little bitty cars, modern cars, have power steering. It doesn't require a lot of effort. You know, I learned to drive on a manual everything car, a huge Chevy Impala with a steering wheel this big around that you had to crank. You know, you don't have to do that anymore. You know, it's and you're done. So, you know, this is the proper way to make an ordinary turn. Now let me show you something different here. Make a quick adjustment to my visual aid. And I'll show you, this is a different kind of a turn here. Okay, this is the kind of turn that a racing driver would call a corner. It's not really an intersection. It's where the road ceases to go straight and starts to go all bendy on you. No problem normally maneuvering this sort of thing, you know, you just track around the corner. So what do you see? I'm saying, what are people doing wrong? These kind of things. What you usually see is, here is Georgie's cooking along, maybe 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, and he sees this upcoming turn. And so what does he do? He waits till he gets right into the turn, and then he applies his brakes, puts his brakes on hard, slowing down so that he doesn't feel any sideways motion, any G-forces. And only after he gets through the turn entirely does he get his foot off the brake and then accelerates because he feels comfortable going straight. That's okay. What's wrong with that? Well, it's entirely wrong driving technique. Anybody that has any experience at all with race driving knows that you do your braking before ever you get to the corner. You slow down to the speed you need to get through the corner before you get there. Then when you're actually in the turn, you actually apply a little bit of power again, just a little bit, enough to keep everything tracking properly so you're not tending to skitter up the road this way or oversteer and go to the end side. And you say, well, that's for race drivers, Mike, you know, why do I have to bother with that? Well, the reason is, most of the time people get away with that because they're not going anywhere near at the limits of traction for their car. Most people have no idea how hard they can push their car through a corner. They don't come anywhere close. You know, they're amazed if they go out with a trained driver at how rapidly their ordinary little sedan can be pushed through a corner. You say, oh my God, that's amazing, you're an amazing driver. No, the car just has capabilities far beyond what the normal driver experiences. So why is this bad? Because it only works during perfect driving conditions. So here comes George. He's going a little bit over the speed limit like he always does. And he hits the curve and he applies his brakes and it's snowing. Or it's just started to rain. And he's off the road and he can't figure out why. What happened? I don't understand. You know, again, the way you keep traction is to apply a little power. You do your braking before ever you get to this turn. Then apply just a little bit of power, enough to keep traction on the wheels, and then if you do start to go off a little bit, the car starts to skid a little bit, it's pretty easy to correct back into it and straighten the car out. Whereas if you're standing on the brakes already, toing, what you want to do is steer with your throttle rather than with the steering wheel in these cases. Something to bear in mind, something to practice. You can, you don't have to go fast. Just practice slowing down before you get to the bend in the road and powering through it. And by powering, I don't mean stomping on it. I mean just applying enough gas so that the car is stable. Race drivers talk about upsetting the car. It upsets the balance. Again, people seem to be afraid of applying any G-forces at all to the car. They want to go absolutely comfortable and straight all the time. And the car is capable of much more performance than most people ever subject it to. So bear that in mind. Habits that you develop when everything is good will get you in big trouble when things are bad. It's just like those big multi-car collisions. Well, the speed limit was 70. Doesn't matter that I can only see 20 feet, right? That sort of thing. So anyway, till then, make those turns sharply as you can, and watch out for the curves. That's where you tend to run off the race course or hit the phone pole, whichever happens to be handy there.